Hi there, it's Jody Lawyer, holistic occupational therapist at Helix Healing Path. And for today's main lesson, we're going to talk about feeling depleted. And what are some of the signs that you know that you have just run out at the end of your road and you need to recharge your batteries? So sometimes we don't realize that it's creeping up on us until all of a sudden we are completely exhausted. And that is the number one sign, is that you are just completely exhausted physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You're depleted. You don't want to engage with anyone. Sometimes that happens where you just want to shut off the world and not talk to anybody or not make any social plans. So that is one of your warning lights or your indicators. Another one is just having a really difficult time making the to-do list or even setting your daily goals. I'm not talking about, your where you are year end or where you want to be in 5 years, but I'm just saying getting these like daily tasks or these chores done that you are required to do, whether that's going to the grocery store or picking up your kids or driving someone over here or whatever that might be, because we all have so many different kinds of responsibilities that are bombarding us every day. So even doing those daily life chores can be really a challenge when you are completely depleted. The other thing is if you work out regularly, and I know this has happened to me, and this is how I usually know, you don't want to even work out. And I remember I've had several occasions where I just hit a wall and I don't work out for an entire week. I don't go to the gym. I might go to yoga, but I don't go to the gym, because doing physical workouts like that with weights or cardiovascular where you're combining them, that takes not only physical stamina, but also that mental resilience and that mental stamina. So sometimes it's too much when you are exhausted. And if you take supplements don't even work their magic when you are that exhausted. So you really do need to take notice of how you're feeling in your body when this is happening. Stress and anxiety add to the mix, and sometimes we pretend that we're not as stressed as we really are, or we try to push it aside or justify maybe why we're feeling a certain way. But to know that anxiety and stress are huge factors in terms of depleting our energy, and when we're carrying that chronic fatigue and that chronic stress, that can deplete our energy quickly. And unless we do something to recharge those batteries, we're gonna just keep on this awful train of going without any end in sight. And so I've talked about stress and anxiety in some of the other lessons. There's lots of different tools that you can do to practice that when you are feeling really stressed. But the point is to get into a daily practice of learning how to alleviate that stress and anxiety so you're not carrying it with you all the time. One of the other things that can happen when you are depleted and stressed is you're not drinking enough water. And so dry lips is the number one indicator, but when you don't get enough water, you can get muscle cramps, you get migraine headaches. And so you want to be drinking enough water so that your urine actually is clear when you go to the bathroom, and that is how you know you're drinking enough. So make sure you're taking in enough of those liquids and the good stuff. I know sometimes we want to go for the coffee or we want to go for alcoholic beverages when I get that, but make sure you're balancing it out with enough water so that your urine runs clear. Another way you know you're depleted is you cannot concentrate. You've got this foggy brain. You just cannot seem to get going in the mornings. And that is really hard, because when you are not getting enough sleep at night, that can contribute to that fogginess in the morning. So you want to make sure that they kind of go hand in hand, and you want to make sure that you're getting enough sleep and actually going into the REM sleep, which is 90 minutes. And so getting as many of those REM cycles that you can throughout your night, because that's what helps you to restore yourself and for you to wake up feeling a little bit more refreshed. And so really aiming for whatever that is for you, 7 to 9 hours. If you are staving off your bedtime, that can also contribute to your brain fog and lack of concentration and getting going in the morning. And any time that you can go to bed before midnight is actually better for your health. And so studies have shown that. So you can actually learn to retrain yourself by pushing your bedtime back 15 minutes in increments until you get it to the optimal time. So if you want to start aiming for 10 o'clock and you're staying up till midnight, it's going to take a few weeks to get you to that place. But that's how you can retrain yourself to go to bed and then work on getting that 7 to 9 optimal sleep so that you can get your good REMs. And when you are depleted, you tend to crave carbohydrates and high sugar foods. And I know that is one of my things too. So I'm not gonna lie, and I can tell when I'm really stressed or anxious because I want to go for the ice cream or the licorice or whatever that is, and it just ends up becoming this vicious cycle where, because when we eat bad food, then we feel tired, and so you have to learn how to break that loop. And so get out and do a walk, a quick little walk. It doesn't have to be anything too strenuous, or go outside and just sit in the sun or get out in nature, and that will also help to recharge your batteries. So again, it's really tricky when you are that tired, and it's so easy to just like reach for the crunchy foods or the bad food, but that also causes us to feel more exhausted. So those are some things that you can look at. So if you are feeling depleted, make sure you're asking yourself these questions. How have you recharged your batteries? Whatever that is that if it's not too stressful, is it getting together with a friend, going for a walk, making sure that you're carving out your alone time, because that can also, whenever we engage with anybody, we're exchanging energy, and anything that we do is an energy thing. Like whether we're working, whether we're doing this, we're using mental energy, we're using physical energy, and so we can become depleted really quickly, and especially if we're putting our energy into things that are not going to fill us up. And yes, I know we have responsibilities that have to get done. You have those have to things, but then what are your things that are negotiable in terms of, can I push that off so that I can get some rest time over here? So you really want to make sure you're asking yourself, honestly, what are you doing to recharge your batteries? And what are you doing to mentally stimulate yourself that's going to produce positive results for yourself? Is that engaging in a really great stimulating conversation, or maybe listening to a podcast or something like that that's going to feed your brain? So ask yourself that. Have you felt a sense of accomplishment lately? Because I know that when we really get tired, we get really down on ourselves, and then we can make ourselves feel really bad for maybe not getting X, Y, and Z done. But doing those really small things and making small promises to yourself every day, like I promise that I'm going to call this person, or I promise that I'm going to take my daughter to go do this activity that you wanted to do, or whatever that is. Make sure you're doing at least one thing and making those small promises to yourself, and that helps to make you feel like you are accomplishing things. Physical rest, again, remember going back to getting enough REM sleep, but even taking naps or meditating and carving out that time to really just give yourself that space. If you need to have that quiet time again where no one is involved, I need a lot of quiet time myself to feel fully engaged and to bring myself back into my body. But then I also know that it's good for me to have my social time and to do things with my friends. And, I've got some really great people in my life that know when I'm kind of like getting shut off, and they say, come on, let's go for a walk. And they pull me out, and I'm really grateful for them. So, because sometimes we can become a little bit more hermetized than we want to. And so, really finding those opportunities for social engagement, and then making sure you're getting your good food and water, and drinking enough of that water. That will help to just fuel you with the right foods, because it's all up here. It starts up in the brain. And, when we eat a lot of that junk food, it is a serotonin hit, and that's why it feels good, because it's like, yum. And then we get the serotonin hit, we feel calm and we feel good. But there's other healthy foods that you can do and eat, and water that will give you those same boosts in the brain. And then getting some kind of movement, or have you moved your body? Because we all know that movement, any kind of movement, it doesn't have to be this full-on exercise program, but walking, or just moving your body, or just doing jumping jacks, or whatever that might be, and just doing some dance. Have a dance party in your kitchen. I do a lot. And so with your favorite music, and so that will help move that energy through the body too, and just feel more empowered and more good, and helps you to just get out of your brain, get out of your mind, whatever is stressing you out. And then another one is, are you doing anything creative? Engaging in creative hobbies, doing the things that you like to do. When we engage in those creative endeavors, that helps to free up the brain, and we just become more zenned out. It's called flow, and you're not really thinking about problems. You're just in that nice space where you're really just honing in on creating and not worrying about life. And if you are, then you need to learn how to shut that off, because that doing creative things actually helps you to feel empowered and to help you rejuvenate your batteries. So do more of whatever that is for yourself. And then, are you feeling understood and appreciated? And I know that sometimes this is challenging because, you know, we pick our friends, and we have family members that we have too, and whoever's around us, but making sure that you're filling your bucket up with these people that really lift you up and make you feel good. And I know that it has to come from within, but it is nice to have the people around you that validate you at times. So you want to make sure that you're feeling like that. And if you're in a really toxic environment, whether that's work, whether that's home, partners, friends, it might be time to assess what those relationships are doing for you and your energy and depleting you. And you may have to say goodbye to some of these particular relationships, or put them over here in this other section of your life where you're not engaging with them all the time, because they're depleting you, they're robbing you of your energy. And so looking at that as another big piece. And then just feeling, you know, having those intimate relationships. And it's not about just this, like sex if you're in a partnership. It's about feeling understood and feeling cared for, and friends can do that for you too, and family members can do that, wherever you're able to be vulnerable without worrying about judgment and somebody judging you for making a certain decision, whatever that is, and just holding space for you if you are there and you just need to cry it out, and somebody's not always having to give you advice. Sometimes that's what we want, is just for somebody to listen and not give us advice and not say, oh, I can do this to fix it. You know, just holding that space and just being with a person is so validating and extremely uplifting. And that is where a lot of healing begins, is just being able to be heard and understood. So that is it for our mini lesson on, are you feeling depleted? I hope that you found some of these ideas to be valuable, and that you can implement some of these to help you feel more recharged. If you want to reach out, I'm at jody@helixhealingpath.com or www.helixhealingpath.com. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. And I hope that you are able to find some things to recharge your own.